We're thrilled to have John Leguizamo here tonight. He's an artist, writer, producer, actor, and tweeter extraordinaire.
You probably spent most of the day asking yourself, how can it be as successful as John Leguizamo? A middle-aged actor who's had many small roles in successful films and many lead roles in unsuccessful films, and who starred in 5 one-man shows, 2 of which were nominated for Tony Awards, though lost both, and I'm still pissed about that. Oh, shoot, I changed the pronouns. Bitterness will do that to you. The point is, I, John Leguizamo, am one of 20 or so best-known Latin actors of approximate middle age and thinning hairline. And I've had so much success. I own a brownstone in Manhattan. I have 2 kids who talk back to me because they've never been beaten. I even have white privilege. Is this Brooks Brother jacket look big? Make my ass look big? Who wants to do a TED Talk later week? Anyway, my career's been fun, but it hasn't been easy. And sometimes it hasn't been that fun either, if I'm being honest. I think my father, whose withholding of love instilled in me a creative yet pathetic need to seek the approval of strangers. And that's literally the reason why I do this, because my father didn't love me enough. And science has proven that you can prevent your child from becoming an actor by hugging him 38 times in childhood. My father fell short of that total by about, carry the 38 hugs. Thank you. It takes longer for it to get over there. My first audience was my family, and they were big fans for a while. You know, it turns out they liked my earlier work better. I was born in Colombia, the country in South America, not the university in the Upper West Side. You know, sometimes after I do these talks, like these, parents come up to me and say, John, can you help my son Griffin get into Columbia University? He has good grades. And I usually say, yeah, I can, for $500 in cash. And when I was 3, we left Columbia and we moved to New York. We were kind of the people that Trump wants to keep out of the US. Though my father wasn't a criminal. Well, not according to his 4 ex-wives. So we moved into an all-white neighborhood in Jackson Heights, Queens. Yeah. Just you. The other person who made it out. And we were pace setters, outliers, early adopters. So you can imagine the greeting we got. The Italian thugs were always like, yo, Ricky Ricardo, I got cousins from Napoli who aren't as dark as you. They take a bath, nothing for nothing. Even the nice Jewish fathers were like, got them grease ball olives. Even the Irish were making me do their errands. Here's $5, go to the corner store and buy me the cheapest 6-pack they've got. My legs a bit gamey because of the scurry. Hey, do you like Van Morrison? Our rivals set off a decade of white flight from Jackson Heights. But before they left the neighborhood, all these families found the time to insult me and beat me up. That's how I learned to be funny. And laughter will keep you from crying, and laughter will also keep a kid named Mickey Fitzpatrick from beating the shit out of you. And at school, I was a class clown. I pop into my home a few times a year and workshop a few impersonations. Could have been somebody. Could have been somebody. Man, see, you'll never take me in compliment. Man, see?
Lucy, don't do that to me.
And I told my father I was going to be an actor, and he says to me, Jesus Christ, carajo, John, couldn't you at least be a garbage man or a substitute teacher? Something with dignity? You should be in a union. Union people never get fired. Even if they're as stupid as you and your brother, never mind. And family can walk out on you. Teachers and classmates can walk out on you. You know who can't walk out on you? Paying audiences. This ticket cost me $15. I'm going to stay until the goddamn end. I don't care how crappy it is. So I started working with PS 122, a performance art space back in the day. You knew it was performance art because the cast outnumbered the audience. Now this will shock you. If you're under 30 years old, but in the late 70s, we weren't trying to make bank or get more Instagram followers or build a brand. No, we were trying to make art and get laid. But mostly make art and get laid. And that led me to the New York Public Theater, where I played Puck in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. A New York Times critic called my performance feckless. look it up, I had to. I think he meant that I didn't give a feck if people liked my performance. I like going into Manhattan because white people would be scared of me and cross the street. And I'd go, yeah, am I scaring you, huh? You think I'm gonna mug you? But then in Queens, it would be like, look at John, he's a herb, he reads books. Yo, last time I heard he read the whole encyclopedia. That's one corny ass dude. And you probably know about the 10,000 hour rule. Whatever you're doing, from playing the violin to writing computer code, you need 10,000 hours of practice before you're really good. Now, there was only one thing I'd done for 10,000 hours. The fellas know what I'm talking about. I became very good about it, and I'm going to divide the integer, just carry the about 80,000 hours. And when I started getting movie roles, which sounds great, but I thought they were all beneath me because my problem was that I was arrogant, man, because I was a theater actor. And theater actors think they're morally superior to movie actors. Everybody knows that. I was going to be an artist, man, and I thought I was a great actor, so movies were really difficult for me because we looked down on people who did movies and TV, because for us theater nerds, it was about being raw and truthful, not good-looking or charming or celebrity. And I was motivated by the wise words of one of my favorite playwrights, Tennessee Williams, from Mississippi, who said, "Theater is an art form. Remember that. It's a vast undertaking, much bigger than all of us who work in it. Of course we're going to fail. We're taking on a huge task, an almost impossible one. And risk breeds failure, but it also breeds brilliance." Now, you can imagine how that went over in Hollywood. But you got to fail to succeed. Look, I'm not going to go movie by movie through my IMDb because I've done nearly 100 movies. Not all of them good, mind you. But I think this one story will suffice. I did a movie with Carlito, in Carlito's Way, with Al Pacino. And Pacino was my hero, man. And this was a gangster flick on top of that. And I played Benny Blanco from the Bronx, an upstart punk. And I thought I'd be daring and innovative in the movie, within my scenes with Pacino, to go off script. Look, just because some guy spent 3 years of his life writing a screenplay, why should I have to respect his words, you know? When I can make up whatever comes up to my mind seconds before the camera rolls. Because that's what artists do, right? But Pacino didn't think it was so daring or innovative because I do my improv and he's like, cut, what the fuck was that? Who said you could make up crap like that? Stick to the lines, you mook, or I will go to the producer and have you removed. So, if you're going to learn any lessons from me today, it's mostly what not to do. Because I'm the guy who turned down a big role in Philadelphia, the Tom Hanks movie, which went on to win 2 Academy Awards, 2 Glad Media Awards, and 2 Golden Globes. And why did I turn it down? So I could play Luigi in Super Mario Bros. Which won nothing except the "John, how could you be so goddamn stupid" award from my wife. Acting is collaborative, everybody contributes ideas, but no one person gets his way all the time, except for Harvey Weinstein, the most successful producer in the world. But I got tired of collaborating, man, and compromise, so I started to do one-man shows, and the added bonus was there was nobody to fire me. And now that I had the freedom to improvise as much as I wanted, whenever I wanted, I realized how important it was to stick to the script, especially if I wrote it. I still try to be honest as I can in my shows. The last one I did, Ghetto Clown, came after I had an intense bout of performance anxiety. Okay, I had a breakdown. And it felt like, when I walked on stage, it felt like I was going to blow up into a billion pieces, which is probably what Pacino was imagining during Carlito's Way. And I eventually found a therapist who was an expert on positive thinking, but I kept thinking, what the fuck good is that going to do me? Thank you. I don't need that. And my therapist, who sounds a lot like Garrison Keillor, says to me, "John, just be yourself." And I was like, how can I be myself, Doc? Which self? My depressed self or my ghetto self? And if I hate myself, what happens if I hate myself when I find myself? And my therapist says, "Well, John, see, our time is up. That'll be $400 cash. See you next week." And the reason I talk shit about myself on stage is because it helps me feel better. And I talk shit about my family too for the same reason. And there's been a cost to pay for that, not gonna lie, painful ones. My plays have cost me our relationship with my brother, who doesn't talk to me, and my father, who prefers to talk to me through his lawyer. And my mom was mad at me for a while too. She was like, ay, sinvergüenza, I never put soda in your baby bottle, hijo de la gran puta. And I was like, Mom, you just cursed yourself in Spanish. Ay, cállate, puta, la puta que te parió. But then I bought her a house, and suddenly she loved my work again. Then after a while, my mom started to play the angles too, and she'd be like, John, I heard that Eric Bogosian bought his mother a summer house in Westport. You don't want him to outdo you, do you? Or do you? And that's when I instituted my one house per family member policy. My dad came to my show and he was, John, it was so painful for me when you were talking about how I beat you. My dad doesn't really understand irony. I never did those things to you. I feel so sad right now that I want to beat your ass again. I started seeing a therapist in high school. I've learned that talking helps you make sense of the pain. And by talking, the pain diminishes. And after talking about my dad on stage, I was ready to forgive him, but now he can't forgive me for writing about him. And when I was young and going on a lot of auditions in the 80s, the roles were always the same. Pimp, mugger, arsonist, gang leader. And it was weird because I was working on my elocution and diction. I'd be doing tongue twisters. I'm not incompatible, you're incompatible. I'm not incompatible, you're incompatible. So I worked on myself to get the ghetto and street out of my mouth. So I would stop saying both and south and math. Yeah, we were so ghetto we couldn't even afford a TH. But in the auditions, they didn't want me to enunciate. I remember this one audition, I finally had enough, man. The casting agent says to me, John, that was very good, but we don't want a Hispanic actor. We want an actor who can play Hispanic. Can you do that? Can you just make it a little more street? And I was like, yeah, I see what you mean. You mean like, listen here, you lame-ass, suck-ass white boy. You're gonna ask me to be street? Like all Latin people are thugs and prostitutes? I'm gonna climb over this table, I'm gonna kick your mother-loving ass up and down the goddamn street so you can ask nobody to do that shit for you again, you dig? And I scared the shit out of him. And that was my audition for Carlito's Way. I got the part. And there aren't many or enough parts for Latinx people because, I mean, with Oscars so white and hashtag Hollywood even whiter, 1 out of every 6 Americans is Latin. And why aren't we represented on TV accordingly? Why does Hollywood ignore us? Where's our Driving Miss Daisy? Okay, bad example, but... That's another reason I started writing one-man shows, so I wouldn't have to play hoodlums all the time. And now that I don't have any family members left to piss off, I've got a new show called Latin History for Morons. And I'm one of the morons, because it took me years to understand Latin history and the huge contributions and accomplishments of Latinx people. These stories were never in our school textbooks. They built a wall around our history. Because we're the only ethnic group to have fought in every single war this country has ever had, from the American Revolution to World War II to Afghanistan and Iraq. And we have been the most decorated minority or ethnic group in each and every single one of those wars. 10,000 Latin people fought in the American Revolution. Bernardo de Galvez led an army of Mexicans, Native Americans, and free blacks and saved much of the South from assaults by the British. He was like our Latin George Washington of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. 20,000 of us Latin people fought in the Civil War on the Union and the Confederate side. I mean, you know, we'll go wherever they pay us. You know how we do. I'm sorry. And the Latin people I know, the Latinos I grew up with, are funny, complicated, and intellectual. But I never see the Hispanic characters in movies portrayed that way, or in television, or in textbooks. I mean, I want to see those qualities reflected. The publisher of a major research company recently said Latinos will change the profile of American society over the next 4 decades. We're the future of this country. Let's look at 2 variables that explain why we're increasingly important to the U.S. 1, our median age is 28. The median age of white people in this country is 42. We're young, okay? And we're going to outlive you, all right? 2, our birth rate is significantly higher than the birth rate of Asians, blacks, and especially whites. Thank you, Catholic Church. White people, I promise you, I'm going to be gentle with you. More gentle than you've been with us, I promise you. I know numbers are boring. Put away your phone, not you, because you've got social media. I'm almost done with the statistics. And this one's particularly relevant right now because of the almost 70 million Hispanics in the U.S., about 10 million were immigrants. And that, my friends, is the reason Republicans want to keep us out of the country. Because Hispanics overwhelmingly vote Democrat. If Republicans can keep us out of the country, and if they can gerrymander us out of our rights, or purge us out of voter rolls, or any other un-American thing that makes it harder for us to exercise our right to vote, they'll never win another presidential election. They could eventually lose control of the Supreme Court. There could even be fewer reruns of Modern Family because Sofia Vergara is a Latin immigrant. Oh no, Chad, what is happening to our world? They're scared of us. And not for the reasons, the bogus reasons they're usually scared of us either. We don't have guns, okay? But we do have numbers. Last year, the buying power of Hispanics in the U.S. exceeded $1.3 trillion. If Hispanics in the U.S. were a country, we'd be the world's 11th largest economy. And experts predict that our buying power will grow by 50% in the next 5 years. There are over 500 million Spanish speakers in the world. It's the third most spoken language in the world. We beat out the English. And most of that buying power is in the hands of Latinas, which means, gentlemen, that we're powerful, but our moms, sisters, wives, and girlfriends are even more powerful than us. And I ain't mad at that. In conclusion, Hispanics have more economic power than we've ever had, and it will continue to grow every year. And under capitalism, economic power gives you political power. And I'm pretty sure the Latin vote is going to determine this midterm elections in 2018. Lo siento, Señor Trump. Well, we come to the end of our journey. And this show was a wild ride, wasn't it? I had a wonderful time talking to you and think we both walk away with knowing each other a little better. So in conclusion and in summary and in summation, and to wrap things up the way that will bring things to a close before we say goodbye. Let me leave you with these parting words. Be happy. Do things that make you happy within the confines of the legal system. Do things that make you feel good and proud. It can be almost anything. Name something. Right, try that. I don't care. Contribute to the world. Help people. Help one person. Help someone who is trying to help you. Just help. Make an impact. Show someone you care. Say yes instead of no. Say something nice. Smile. Make eye contact. Hug. Kiss. Get naked. Laugh. Laugh as much as you can. Laugh until you cry. Cry until you laugh. Keep doing it, even if people are passing on the street going, yo, I can't tell if that person's laughing or crying. But either way, let's cross the street and walk faster away from them. Find out who you are and figure out what you believe in. Even if it's different from what your neighbors believe in and different from what your parents believe in, stay true to yourself. Have your own opinion. Don't worry about what other people say about you or think about you. Let the naysayers neigh. They will eventually grow tired of naying. Now, I don't mean to tell you what to do or how to live your lives, but those are the things that have worked for me. And I believe in my heart of hearts that even if we make the smallest, puniest effort, we can make this world a better place. And if we try even harder, we can do some pretty spectacular things. I know sometimes the world seems like it can't get any better, but I think it can. So, vote or you can't complain. They're trying to make it harder for us to vote, but we can't let them. It's our right to vote. Don't let them manipulate the system and take away our rights. Get your friends and your family to register. And all of you, go out and vote, and not just in the presidential, but in the midterms. Spread the word, not just here in New York, but all over this goddamn great country of ours. That's right, it's our country true, and let's save it while we still can. Thank you very much.